at my heaviest, I was at 25 stone. I was so unhappy. I remember when I got to 20 stone, I said to myself, right, if I ever, I think I was about 19, 10 or something, and I'd said, if I ever reach 20, it's time to get the finger out and do something about it. But then I reached 20 and I was like, okay, well, we'll go to 21. We'll do 21's fine. And I got to 21 or 22. And it just kept going up and up. And I mean, I was miserable. I wouldn't get out of bed. There's a video at home with my kids where I wanted to play with my kids, but all I'm doing is I'm just lying on the living room floor and letting them run around me. That's what my life was. I was just static, and everybody else's life was just going on around me. It wasn't a good existence. If there's a diet on this planet that I haven't tried, it doesn't exist. I pretty much tried everything, and I'm talking, even just simply eating right and exercising, or all the different fad diets, or the expensive shakes and everything that we've all tried. I've tried them all. Some of them were successful. I mean, there was times where I had my head screwed on and I thought, right, I'm going to do this. And I could see the weight coming off, but then for some reason I would completely sabotage it. And I'd go, okay, so I've lost a stone this month. I deserve a Chinese. And that one Chinese would turn into 2 or 3 or 4, and then it would just go right back up again, it would come right back on. The reason I chose weight loss surgery was because I had, my third child was on the way. And I'd already missed out in my first 2 childhoods because I was so overweight. And with the third one coming, I thought, right, this is the time now to get it sorted. I was 25 stone. I was unhealthy. I struggled to get out of bed in the morning. I didn't want to miss another one of my kids' childhoods. So that was the main reason for it. Was I had my third kid coming, and I wanted to be around, because at 25 stone, you can't mess about with that. If I stayed that weight, there's a pretty good chance I probably wouldn't be able to sit here today. I wouldn't have that chance. So I wanted to be around for my kids. It's as simple as that. I did a bit of research initially, and this was actually years before I went for the surgery. And I made a phone call to a few different places that I'd found on Google, and Healthier Weight was one of them. And for some reason, and I don't know if it's Healthier Weight's methods or what, but for some reason, Healthier Weight always showed up on my email inbox. It was just something that always came up. I would never get another email from any other company, but I always got one from Healthier Weight, and it wasn't like a marketing thing or anything like that. It was a here's how we can help you. How are you doing? Those sort of things. So Healthier Weight was always in the back of my mind. So when I made the decision, right, I am going to do this, Healthier Weight was the first one that I went to. Mr. Kassem was my surgeon in the Nuffield Hospital in Glasgow. I had no issues with the guy at all. He was absolutely brilliant, really, really nice, really friendly, really gentle. If that sounds really daft, but he was such a nice guy. Put me at ease right away from the consultation, right through to the surgery. I actually remember one of the first pieces of advice, like literally, we hadn't even spoke about the process of the surgery or anything like that. The very, very first piece of advice that came out of his mouth was talking about sliders, which I didn't even know was a thing. It was basically, things that you can eat that can just slide right through your band, and that always stuck with me since day one. Honestly, it was like, hi, what's your name? What are you looking for? Gastric band. Okay, let's talk about sliders. It was literally, and that was me right away. Yeah. Had my head screwed on with it. With 2 kids and an 8-month pregnant wife, I had to recover quickly. So I was back on my feet probably within a week or two, and back doing normal things within about a month. I do remember one instance where I was doing a disco, and I had to lift my speakers. And this is about a month after my surgery, and I picked up the speakers, and I just felt this, like almost, it felt like a tear just run about here, but I literally just pulled a muscle, but it was the worst pain I'd ever had, honestly. And then I realised, maybe I just need to slow down a wee bit here. But no, other than that, I had no issues getting back on my feet. No, not at all. It was pretty quick. My life is completely different now. My entire life has changed. Even just the way I carry myself is just completely different. I can walk down the street with a wee bit of pride in myself. Straight after my surgery, I was unemployed. I didn't have much going for me, but I pushed through and I fought through, and now I am a full-time author. I'm baffled by this. You know, I didn't plan on being a writer or anything like that, but I'm now an author. I travel the country helping people, or trying to help people with their mental health, trying to inspire people where I can. One of the things that I do when I do my kids sessions, when I go into schools, I tell them there's four. When I was younger, there was 4 things I wanted to be when I was a grown up. I wanted to be a dad, I wanted to be a radio DJ, I wanted to be a wrestler, and I wanted to be an author. And over the past couple of years, I've managed to do all 4 of them. Obviously, I've got 3 kids, so I'm a dad. I used to be a radio presenter. It took me a long time to do it, but I did manage to do it, and I got a radio presenter. Believe it or not, I did manage to have a wrestling match, and I did manage to wrestle. I got to say, I kind of looked all right in spandex as well, I'm just saying. And obviously now I'm an author as well, and I managed to do that. And the simple message that I give the kids, and I can give to anybody, and this can go straight down to losing weight as well, is the way I did that is just, I didn't give up. You know, I'd mentioned earlier that I got hit with postnatal depression when the kids were born. I could have given up then. I could have just left. I could have done other stuff, but I didn't. I fought through, and I now have a very happy home. My kids are really happy, my wife's happy, we've got a really happy family. When I wanted to do radio presenting, I had to phone the radio station I worked for. I phoned them every day for a year before they even let me through the door for a job, but I didn't give up. When I wanted to be a wrestler, I had to lose weight. I could have easily, as I said, I didn't get fat by accident. I could have easily eaten all the pizzas or anything like that in the world, or I could have had all the sliders in the world and just stayed at the weight that I was, but I didn't, and I didn't give up, and I managed to learn how to wrestle and have a wrestling match. And with the book, I've got hundreds of unfinished stories on my computer, but the one story that I didn't give up on was Lucy's Blue Day, and that's the one that I'm working with now, and I didn't give up. And you can equate that to anything, and I know we'll talk about this later on, but weight loss surgery isn't easy. It's hard, and it's hard, especially I don't know sleeves or balloons or bypasses or anything like that. I had a gastric band, and it was hard, very hard, and you have to fight through it, and you have to not give up to get the results. And it's made me a stronger person in the past 2 years, because as we said earlier, I tried every other diet under the sun, and I gave up on all of them. But with my gastric band, I didn't give up, and now I'm 12.5 stone lighter. I feel great, I'm healthier, I'm happier, and my life is completely different.
Two, one. Who was your surgery with?
Who was my surgery with? You mean the surgeon? It's a good question.